Hi, welcome. My name's Donna Bouler. I'm with Jacksonville University, and I'm going to share an overview of two classes that we've been going over, two labs, respiratory tract and the digestive system, the cat. So we're going to start first with the mouth. And I'm not going to go over teeth and all that stuff, although that is part of the lab, knowing the canines and the molars and such on the cat. But we're going to start with the tongue and the soft palate, the upper palate. Had to cut a little further into the oral pharynx so we could come down to the epiglottis, which is right here. And just a reminder, that's the cartilage that closes when we swallow to keep food and fluids from going into our lungs. If you can see inside, there are openings in there. If I put my probe right in here and see, I can take it into the trachea right there. If I put it the other way, I have a hole in the esophagus here. I can take it down into the esophagus. So that just to demonstrate the blockage of the epiglottis. Now, the trachea and the esophagus are parallel, trachea on top, esophagus on the bottom, down through the chest cavity. Trachea ends at the lungs. Here we have our cat's lungs. And if you notice, you can see very clearly where the lungs bifurcate, the trachea bifurcates. And we have our right branch of the bronchial and the left bronchial branch. Our cat has 3 lobes on one side, 4 lobes on the other. And I'm sorry, but I'm getting tangled up in my cat here. 4 lobes on the other, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see right here, these 2 vessels, these red vessels, these are the pulmonary veins. This is where the oxygenated blood returns from the lungs to the heart. So our lungs would be here, our heart would be here. Just took the heart out for ease of demonstration. And then we have our diaphragm, which is one of our muscles that help with breathing. This is the major muscle between the chest cavity and the abdominal cavity, along with the intercostal muscles are responsible for respirations. Now, the esophagus keeps on going down and it passes through the back of the diaphragm. Here's our liver. And just point out real quick, this is the gallbladder. On the cat, it's a little bit mushy, but it's right on top. If we pull the liver out of the way, you can see the stomach. And the stomach is C-shaped. The inside of the stomach here, or the inner curve of the stomach. And this area right here where the stomach empties into the small intestine, this is the duodenum. If we look a little closer and pull the other intestines out of the way, right here we can see a darker shaped organ, and it's very granular, looks very delicate. That is the pancreas. The majority of the pancreas here is in the lesser omentum. If we go to the left side, we will find the spleen. This is the spleen, and it sits posterior and to the side of the stomach. All right, then we move through the lesser omentum. This carries blood vessels to and from the small intestine, and from there helps carry the nutrients to our body. It also keeps the intestines close together so they don't flop everywhere. If we follow all the way to the end, and I can tell at the end, we're at the end of the small intestine because we come to this larger intestinal looking piece. It's a C shape, and they don't quite match together like they're one solid piece. You can tell that the small intestine ends and the large intestine begins. It's got the tip over here, and the small intestine comes in this way. This is the cecum. On human beings, we would have our appendix that would hang off here. The cecum is the beginning of the large intestine. And look how much shorter the large intestine is. It goes from here to here. That's it. And from the end of the small intestine to the outside of the body. So that is a very quick overview of the cat from tip to tail. I hope that you learned something. I hope it was beneficial. And thank you for joining me.